And we're live.
Well, there's South Park on HBO Max or HBO Plus, whatever.
All right,
They've
so
made
help
so
me
many
out
little
here.
sub things.
Help me out here. I'm going to sound like a dummy, but what's new? How do I get HBO Max?
You need to have your friend come over and log in on your TV.
Are you telling me that literally?
That's how I have it.
Are you literally telling? All right. So
do you want me to tell you how to put Netflix on your TV? Is you want to have a friend come over and log in on your TV?
do you pay for any services?
I'm joking. I do pay for that, but not. The HBO Plus has been on there for months now, ever since you
not
logged
Plus in. HBO Max.
HBO Max. That's what it's called. Yeah.
So here's the thing. Maybe I missed the boat somewhere. I didn't catch a commercial. They've done a piss poor job of advertising HBO Max.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to get it. I want it. I'll give them the money. I have no idea how to get it. Right now I have HBO, I think, like through Amazon. Like Amazon's like, hey, you want to add HBO? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, all right, $8, $12, $9, whatever it was. I just added it. So now I've got HBO
on there. You just get like kind of the HBO lineup.
No, everything. I've got all the HBO movie channels so I can watch live. I've got their movie library so that
That's
I can
what I'm saying, but you're only on that HBO app. You only get all the HBO. On HBO Max, you get a bunch of shit that apparently they just have access to.
Yes.
In addition to that.
And I want that because someone told me, and maybe they're just lying to me or they were misinformed, that Rick and Morty was on there already. Like the newest season of Rick and Morty was like debuting on HBO Max.
Yeah, I think it is. HBO has always had that problem. Like remember, what was it, 10 years ago almost now that they came out with Game of Thrones, and everyone was like, I would love for you to make it easy to get this online and just here's my money. Let me get charged.
We all stole the first few seasons because we couldn't figure out how to get HBO because they wouldn't make it easy.
Like a chain of someone's account. I still remember their name from my high school. I got it as like one of the 50th person.
I think I was part of that too.
You were part of that too. Like there was
HBO Go we're talking about?
This was HBO Go back
Woody, I think Woody gave me somebody's account. Woody may have given me an account.
Me. No, because I didn't know my own. Here's how I got mine. Years ago, we did a paintball event. Game of Thrones came out. Joe Lozon and I, in a hotel bed, watched it on my laptop. And then I didn't realize he saved his HBO login on my laptop. So I never knew the password. I just had it as a saved password for ages. It's expired now, so I'll talk about it. But Joe, if you catches this, thank you for about the 6 years of content you bought me. I appreciate it.
I want to say that maybe it was me. Maybe Taylor gave me a code or somebody, but I just remember there were like 50 of us on one HBO account, and the new Game of Thrones episode would come out. It would debut. I don't remember, maybe at 9 p.m., maybe even 10. But at 8:57, my girlfriend and I would be sitting on the couch, and I would be doing that thing where, like, you go to the homepage of a TV show, and it says, like, season 3, 2 episodes available. And so you press back and then go back in because you're wanting to say 3 episodes available. You're trying to refresh it over and over. And I'm just clickety-click, clickety-clack, clickety-click, clickety-clack, clickety-click, clickety-clack. Oh, bazonga! Nope, too late. There are already too many viewers viewing this simultaneously.
There's too many viewing it, and it got to the point there were so many people on this account because we all got it so easily. We just texted it to people that wanted it. That like from 8 to 9, the first shift of like 50 people would watch it, and then you'd have to be quick at 9 to get in for the second shift too. There were so many people on this one account, and it's like you are letting hundreds of people use this account in staggered time frames because
if you were careful,
everybody here would pay like $5 a month on their own if they just would come up with an easy little interface, sign up, log in. Do you remember how aggravating that was? Wanting to watch Game of Thrones and it just not being available on so many streaming services. Like you
had to stay off social media then.
There was
Twitter was going to like go wild with like the Red Wedding or whatever happened. You had to stay off of Reddit. You had to stay off of Twitter or Facebook. You had to just isolate yourself until 100 people were done watching a fucking TV show. The best was if you could really fuck someone over they would pause it to like go get a beer or take a piss. And that would somehow like
kick you out or something.
Kick them out. Like you would, I would refresh and it would be like, 37 minutes into, the 48-minute episode. And it'd be like, start over. And it would. And I'd be like, all right, we're not pausing. So if you got to pee, you do it now before the fucking the dun dun.
You do it
dun,
right
dun,
here.
Dun, 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 dun.
You got the intro sequence to take a shit.
Go get a bowl.
In early HBO days, or HBO Go, that is, they didn't have the bandwidth or the capacity to meet their streaming needs. So even if you were like a valid viewer, like Joe didn't share his account with that many people, I could get in like technically, but then I'd be streaming it at like 320p or maybe not at all, or it would stutter a lot.
Yep.
It sucked.
It'd be
Yeah,
like
do
some
that for
big
me.
scene of the wall, but it's just a white pixel. And it's like, is that Jon Snow? I can tell that's Tarly because it's a lot of pixels.
But HBO solved the problem by making Game of Thrones suck.
They
Yeah,
sure
the
fucking
ultimate
did.
solution.
God, if there's anyone who deserves to go to hell, like if I can pick,
Yeah. You know what?
man, if you gave me that monkey's paw and they were like, oh, this is a special monkey's paw, though, you get 3 wishes, but it's the 3 people you want to die a painful death. D&D go first, and like
That
I
should
don't
count
know
as
who's
one
third.
person.
They should, if they'll count as one person. Like maybe I wait until they're like driving a car together and I just kill the driver. That way, he crashes the car and subsequently
now
kills
you've got
the
2
other.
more monkeys paw.
The devil gives you a monkey's paw, and you're like, all right, D&D. Nah, those are freebies. I'm on with it.
Yeah.
I agree with that one.
I've got my own plan for them.
Fuck those guys.
Yeah.
Fuck them so hard. God damn it.
This new Lord of the Rings show isn't good. What are we gonna do?
I hope that they're suffering a little bit from this, right? Because it seemed like they don't care. They had some sort of deal that I don't fully understand, maybe with Netflix to make their next thing. Maybe it was Star Wars, and they just sort of like, fuck Game of Thrones. I want to do my next thing.
Yeah,
wrap it
like,
up.
We'll give you 4 years to finish it. They're like, nah. 6 episodes is good. Bon voyage, right?
Ugh.
I hope that has had some real ramifications, right? I have to believe they're so rich that money isn't a sole motivator anymore, right? Once you have $100 million, I don't think you're like, ooh, $1 million? Wow, what would that do for me, right? There's diminishing returns on this cash. I bet if they could have Game of Thrones as a legacy they're proud of, that they would do that. They would redo it if they could.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. Yeah, they really missed the boat by putting that much good effort and good work in the first 5.5 years and then pissing it all down the drain. No one, I mean, I think, I can't speak for Filthy, but I know the 3 of us have talked about this. I will never rewatch another episode of that show.
Never.
Because you can't rewatch it knowing that, that plot line that ends up being totally useless. It doesn't tie into anything. Oh, Azor's Eye? Actually, that's absolutely meaningless. That doesn't.
Remember when Sam found that horn buried in the snow at the fist of the first man or some shit up
just
north
a novelty
of the wall?
horn. Just
Yeah, there's a novelty. That was just it might as well have been.
There used to be a gift shop in that area.
It might as well have been a fucking didgeridoo. He might as well have. Whoa. No, it does nothing at all. He literally found something called the dragon horn.
Yeah,
it was meant to control dragons, right? Like it.
That's what we all thought, and we were like, "Holy shit! What if Samwell Tarly blows the fucking magic horn at some point in the future, and like a dragon that was about to wipe everybody out stops and fucking licks his hand, and he climbs on top and like saves the day." Like
the Night King with his million years to plan, and like you half expected to see like Samwell or some double agent in whiteface dressed up like a White Walker behind him. Like, we should attack with all the dragons at once, Lord Ice. Like,
have you guys read the green text?
First the porn one? No.
I'm
trying to
Kyle,
find
you
it.
never sent that link, by the way. You owe me a link.
When I read it, I get chills, and maybe I'm just a fucking nerd, but like I'm gonna try to find it.
Oh, is it someone's like, this is what should have happened?
Yes,
line,
and it's really good.
I'm sure there's a lot of green texts on Game of Thrones that might be hard to narrow down, but yeah, that show enormously disappointing.
Probably Kyle will ask someone for it, and it will happen quickly.
No, I'm googling. I'm gonna find it.
Yeah, it really. I can't imagine watching that show again. There were so many little tie-ups and items and lore that nothing. It just didn't. It ended up being like, oh, okay, so 25% of the predictions in the show just didn't need to happen because they were never going to be addressed.
Kyle has like 36 young Jamies at his fingertips, helping with the show in the background if he needs something. If he needs some picture of a cross-dressing professional gamer, guys, we got work to do. They spring into action and provide him with all the background he needs. I like it.
Whoa,
right.
guys, Amber Alert. Be on the lookout for a black 2010 Dodge Journey in Missouri.
I'm going to read this. Final battle of humanity versus the dead. Bran is warged into the past, being protected by Jaime and Brienne. A White Walker stabs Brienne with her own sword, and she lays on the ground, dying.
Love it.
Cut to young Jaime kneeling with Aerys Targaryen saying, "In the name of the warrior, I charge you to be brave. ... Cut. Jaime kills the White Walker, and after a brief moment of grief, draws the sword from Brienne, now aflame. Cut. Do you swear to defend the innocent and the helpless in the name of the Seven? I swear it. Cut to audio. Jaime and Brienne's parting plays as Jaime looks around. They say the best swords have names. Any ideas? Cut. Night King appears and stares at Bran, his ultimate target. Cut. Oathkeeper. Jaime steps in between them, laughing somberly. Do you know what they call me? As Azor Ahai walks toward the Night King, all that can be heard is a cacophony of voices from past seasons cursing. Kingslayer, Kingslayer, Kingslayer.
That would have been better.
That's so good.
I want that
that would've
so
been way
bad.
better.
That would have been so fucking
We
cool.
need a Snyder cut for Game of Thrones. Just come
Come on,
back
make
and
that
That
make-
would have been so
cartoon.
fucking
Yeah.
cool. He pulls the sword out of Brienne's dead body and it's a flame.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Jaime turns out to be Azor Ahai or whatever the fuck.
There gets to be a real cool sword fight instead of like a surprise attack from a faceless girl that it just didn't make a lot of sense.
She should have been killing fucking Cersei. Like that's where she should have been.
Yeah, that
was
would've
her.
been-
That was her motivation.
Yeah, she shouldn't have been up
so
there
much better.
fucking around.
We can't do this. We can't do this. This is.
We
I'd
could do
rather
it
talk
better than
about like
D&D.
how my grandmother was like jaundiced as she died of cancer. like,
Yeah, that is less sad.
yeah, I'd literally rather talk about how she looked at me and went, "Kyle, I love you." Like that's a true story. That happened, and that affects me less than what we did to Game of Thrones. I love that woman more than anything. And as she died with her liver failing of the cancer that had eaten her body, and she was down to 85 pounds, jaundiced, orange skin, Kyle, I love you. Her final words to me, she died 8 hours later, still not as bad as what they did to fucking Game of Thrones. I just can't do it. I'm going to cry.
Come closer. Don't order weed in the mail.
What are you talking about, Grandma? I'm sorry, Ninny.